This video, I'm going to be showing you the correlation of the law of attraction with negative events in life, whether it be something like understanding the Holocaust and why that would happen, understanding at a deeper level things like child abuse and different experiences. I'm going to show you how to transcend those and what we can collectively do together to completely transform the world. Welcome back to another video. My name's Aaron and I help people expand their consciousness. Now, to be honest with you, this is an interesting video for me to make. Now, the reason I say that is because I've had this question for the longest time. People asking how the law of attraction relates to people that experience negative situations. So people will say, well, what about the child in Africa who hasn't eaten in forever and is starving to death? And questions like that. Now, with it, there's a couple different layers to understanding this, and one of them has to do with awareness. Now, the reason I say awareness is because there are people that use the law of attraction with awareness, and when we are understanding of the principles and how they work, we can then actually apply it. Now, most of the population of the world is completely unaware that they create their own reality. So therefore what happens is they then go on default, and by default I mean then they go on the social conditioning on what we are taught and what we are told. So the reason I think the law of attraction is so important, the reason I think that what I'm doing can really help people is by understanding that we can take our power back. Now, I'm trying to figure out how esoteric, or not esoteric, but how deep I want to go in this video, because there's a lot of different layers to it. And they, in a way, open up Pandora's box. It opens up a whole new world from different aspects. Now, one of them is understanding the control of the media and the control of the people behind the government. And I'm not saying this from a negative point of view. I'm saying this from a point of view of awareness. Now, what do I mean by that? Collectively and individually, we are creating our own reality. So what I mean by that is you have the influence and the ability to change your life depending on the focus of your thoughts, your emotions, your actions. And that by focusing it, you create what you want in a powerful way. Now, there is an electromagnetic energy around your body that is filled up with the emotions and the thoughts that you've had that stays charged with the momentum of how you're thinking, feeling, and acting. Now, in the same way that there is an electromagnetic energy around your body, there's an electromagnetic energy around the earth that is comprised of all of our individual thoughts, emotions, and actions that add up to making the whole consciousness of the planet. So we are all connected. We are all in this together. Now, collectively, it wouldn't even take that many people, but they have proven that when you get a certain amount of people and you put them in meditating on love and peace, it has the potential. 2,000 people did this and it reduced crime by 75% over the whole planet. How crazy is that? 2,000 people, because the power of positive emotion, the power of that kind of feeling can influence the rest of the population. And especially when people start to raise their consciousness, the higher vibration you have, the more you can influence society and the more you influence everything about your world. Now, there's a lot of power in that. Now, on the other side of that, on the flip side of that, there are people that know this. There are people that try to keep us inside of a box. Try to keep us believing that the world is 100% negative. That's why everything you see on the media is negative. Now, this is the biggest con, or the biggest thing that we can start to realize, is that we believe, and even if we unconsciously believe, because I know that some people will say that this is part of conspiracy theory, but the truth is if you look into it and you study it, it is a part of our reality. Now, I'm not saying this in a negative way, but there are people that know that our collective emotion is what creates the effects that we have in our life. And if it keeps us within a certain vibrational range, we may remain unaware that we create our own reality, and that together it wouldn't take that many people to completely change the world. But that information has been kept from us. That's why there is a lot of negative things that happen. Some of it is orchestrated. And that's why I'm making this video right now, to encourage you to understand that I'm not telling you to go into the negative of understanding that there are people that understand that we create our own reality, that the collective emotion is what steers us in certain directions, and that these people want to remain in control. So therefore what they do is they keep us within a certain bubble, and they keep us within a certain vibratory range of fear, and always looking for validation on the outside, always looking to be told what to do, and to be completely disempowered. So I'm making this video so that you understand that you can start to empower yourselves, and by empowering yourself, you will then leak out and empower other people. Now, that's something that this back government understands. They understand that there is so much power in the collective emotion, and that if they can control that through controlling our focus, through controlling our beliefs, through programming, through commercials, then they can control us and keep us in a bubble, and they can remain on the back end with all of the power, orchestrating it the way they want. So this might be kind of hard to hear, and I know it sounds out there, let me tell you that. But when I went through my awakening in 2012, I went through a period where I was learning about this information. And at first I thought it was a very negative thing. I realized it's just a part of the way it is, but we can change that. We can become more empowered. We can understand that we can start to take our power back, because collectively together, we are creating our reality. We believe in these ideas, and we, at a certain level, let it happen collectively. All child hunger, all the different things that we collectively focus on that we believe is a part of our reality is a part of our reality. That is the social conditioning. So I know it seems like I'm kind of answering the question, and I'll get to it and answer it more here in a minute, but I'm laying this foundation so that we understand that our collective beliefs, because we collectively believe in war and famine and all these different diseases, because we have so much energy that is added to it, and it's just the way the world works, it creates more and more of that, so that these kids that don't have food, that go through what they go through, it ends up trickling down to that. So what I'm saying is, as we start to focus on more of the solutions rather than the problem, not watching the news as much, as we start to realize that we can make a change, then we start to take the power back. But it trickles down in that way. Now, on the other side of this, there's the unconsciousness of the majority of the planet. Now, if you're watching my videos, I will say that you are already far ahead of a lot of other people. I don't mean this in an egotistical way, like we're like, oh, we're so far ahead. What I mean is we are aware that our thoughts create our reality. We are aware of these different energy dynamics. And what we could begin to do is to empower ourselves and let that leak onto other people. Let that ripple out into the world. Now, the unconsciousness that I'm talking about means that most people are on complete autopilot. They aren't aware of what they're thinking. If you were to tell them that their thoughts are creating their experience, they would probably look at you like you were crazy. Now, that's a majority of the planet. And because of that unconsciousness, they create from an unconscious point of view. They raise their kids with an unconscious point of view. And sometimes those kids will come and start to learn it themselves or become aware of the information. But regardless of what it is, the law of attraction works whether we realize it or not. And the meaning, this is where it gets even a little bit more tricky, because at a certain level, our souls, our immortal spiritual being, having temporary human experiences. So there are people that go through just complete pain their whole life. But how does the law of attraction explain that? Well, it actually explains it very simply, in the sense that if we're not aware of it, we're just completely being grinded by social conditioning, therefore getting the same effects. And especially because society believes in it, there's so much collective focus that goes onto those things. So in a way, it's very easy for the unconsciousness to run itself out. But at a soul level, how would that happen? I'll say first off that from a soul level, from an ego level, we may not understand it. I don't even completely understand it. But when it comes to the law of attraction, there is a certain amount of abuse that I went through when I was younger with my ex-stepmom. I'm not saying this for you to feel pity for me or anything. What I'm saying, though, is that was a very negative situation. I went through it for about 7 or 8 years. I didn't really have a childhood because of it, because I came out of it when I was 15 years old, and by then I went through 7 years of no TV, no friends, no even really allowed to do school activities, just working outside all the time. It was something I didn't prefer. I had to learn how to talk to people and have friends and know that I don't have to feel like I'm always on edge, like I'm going to get in trouble for something. But nonetheless, that led me to my spiritual awakening. A lot of times pain leads to the pressure. That pressure allows for growth. If I didn't go through all that experience, I don't know if I would have woken up as quick as I did to understand a lot of the information I share on my channel. And the information especially on how we can transmute the negative into the positive. Now, of course, not everyone will get to that place. But nonetheless, all I'm saying is that at the fundamental level, we are immortal spiritual beings having temporary human experiences. So many times what looks very bad to our ego mind may not be bad in the longer sense of things, in the immortal spirituality that we really are. So I know that's a deeper idea, but when we start to connect to this understanding, it makes us feel so much more empowered. And the empowerment I really want to instill to you is to understand that as you raise your vibration, as you raise your consciousness, you are influencing everybody around you. And as we all come together with this higher vibration, we can literally change the world. It doesn't take as many people as we think it does. It took 2,000 people to reduce the crime by 75%. That is amazing. And together, by us focusing on going within, us focusing on raising our vibration, that will help us to change our own lives, which then will change the lives of the planet. But right now, we have these collective beliefs. We have collective focus that goes on the media, that goes on these negative things happening, which creates more momentum in those areas, which means the unconsciousness of the planet, which is most people that aren't aware of this kind of information I'm sharing with you right now, that means that people that go in the unconsciousness of it continue to create and experience it in their lives because of the energy momentum that is added. Our thoughts have electromagnetic energy reality to them, even if we can't physically see them. Eventually, as we focus on things long enough, we can make it so that they become solid in life, just like the chair you're sitting on was once an idea in someone's head that they thought about, took action, and created. It was started in the mind. It had electromagnetic energy, focused on it, and then it became reality. In the same way, our thoughts are being, in a way, controlled by our environment. Our thoughts are being controlled by the media, by commercials, and because of that, we create an energy momentum that goes in certain directions. And all of the Holocaust, all of these negative things that have happened in the past, it's like, how can you explain the LOA with that? It's the unconsciousness of the planet. Us collectively that adds to that. The way that we transcend that is by becoming more aware of who we are, by becoming aware that we do create our own reality, and that because we are aware and empowered, we can then change our outer circumstances by changing ourselves from within, by taking our own power back. This back government that I'm talking about, and I'm not saying it to scare you, I'm saying it to let you know that you are where the power is. The biggest con is people believe they have the power. They don't. They just control our focus and use our own power to believe that we don't have that power. They use our own power to influence these different societal events, this different collective energy in certain directions. And if they think if they can control that, then they control and they can remain in control because we remain unaware. You are so much more than you probably thought that you were. And the way that you connect to this is by feeling empowered and starting to focus on what you want. Mother Teresa has a quote. And what she said was when somebody asked her if she would want to go to a war protest, she said no. She said that she would go to a peace protest or go to an event advocating for peace any day, but she would not go to a war protest. In the same way, whatever we focus on grows. We don't have to focus on the negative of all of these things. We can focus on the positive and the solution that could come from it. If we focus on the problem, we develop momentum of that. This is like I talked about in the book Reality Transurfing. A pendulum is a thought structure. It's the collective conditioning I'm talking about. And whether you approve of it or not, if you disapprove of it, you're adding energy to it. You're adding resistance to it. The resistance makes the pendulum swing higher. It's a metaphor. higher and higher, therefore creating more of it. So the key is to observe it and then to put the energy in the solution, to intend to find the solution, see the world as already whole and complete. I want you right now with me. Let's do this right now. Really quick, I want you just to imagine that the world is healing itself. Imagine that there is a blue energy that is engulfing the world. And that right now, as we focus on this blue energy, that we realize the earth can heal itself. And that by us adding love, imagine infusing love and peace into the world right now. And imagine everybody getting along more. Imagine people putting their differences aside and realizing that at a fundamental level, we are all very similar and that we all want similar things. We want to feel good. We want to be happy. We want to feel connected. Imagine the children that need food. Imagine that they have food. Imagine that people are giving them food, that they have the bare necessities to life and even more, and they're able to thrive. Imagine that any crime has been gone. Imagine that people get along, that people don't go into the lower emotional states and they have to act out through doing things like violence because they already feel whole and complete. Imagine sending love and light to these people. Imagine all is one and everybody is whole and complete. Now imagine that the earth is becoming more and more infused with light. Imagine there's more and more light coming into earth. Really feel into it and understand that as we focus on earth already being whole, earth already being complete, that we start to connect and shift to that world. The next time you see the news on, what I recommend you do is you turn it off and you realize that that's one perspective that wants to be shown to you. Because wherever you put your focus is where energy goes, and you are powerful. Your thoughts are powerful. Your focus is powerful. So start to focus it in the world that you want to live in. Start to focus it on the awareness of what you think and how that correlates with what you experience in life. And as you do that, you will change your whole life because everything is a reflection of the inner. Collectively, we are creating our reality together. And the more we come together and understand that we can change ourselves first, that's where it starts, then everything begins to ripple out. But what we can do is become aware of where our focus is. Understand that a lot of the world is unconscious right now, but we can start to change that by becoming more aware ourselves. It's a ripple effect. Right now, there is so much speeding up on the planet because more and more people are becoming aware of who they are. And I think that over the next 10, 15, 20 years, that's going to continue to speed up. More and more people are going to be interested in this type of information and knowing that our thoughts create our reality and it can absolutely change everything. So if you guys also want to learn how to raise your vibrational set point, that will help you transform your life to then ripple out to everybody else, I've created a free guided meditation that will show you exactly how to raise your vibrational set point, which will make it so you create what you want easier than ever. You can download that in the top of the description box below, and that will help you to do that. Another thing I'll be doing is I'll be doing live Q&As on Instagram a lot more. So if you have questions for me, if you want to ask me questions and interact with me, go ahead and follow me below. You'll see the Instagram right over here or right over here. And other than that, as always, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Feel free to like this video if you guys liked it. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that little notification here so that you can see the daily vids that I do. And other than that, as always, peace, much love.